Welcome to Web Handling. My name is Dave Roysam. I am super excited to continue our new series called Best Practices in Web Handling. In this week's show, we will describe the web path or threading diagram and why it is so much better than pictures or CAD drawings for most purposes. Indeed, the threading diagram may be the most important graphic in your entire plant. Here we share tips on how it can be made even better. I know your time is precious, so let's get started. Is a machine picture really worth 1,000 words? Perhaps for sales. However, what we mostly see in most pictures is mostly frames. Yes, we may see a few rollers, but only if the machine is unthreaded and not completely guarded. What we don't see are the most important machine elements, such as web paths, labels for elements, and some sense of scale. Egad! It's another CAD drawing. When I work with clients, I will explicitly ask them not to send a CAD drawing. First off, I don't have the licenses to open most formats. However, even if they pasted it into a PowerPoint file and converted it into a PDF, I'd be a little better off. As illustrated by this example CAD picture of a web machine, there's next to no useful information for me, or perhaps most people. It is nearly impossible to see rollers and web paths. Labels are mostly part numbers. The CAD drawing is what Edward Tufte would refer to as 99% ink noise and 1% information. So even as an engineer trained to read mechanical drawings, I get frustrated because such presentation formats waste everybody's time. Instead, for 99% of the applications in your plant, a simple threading diagram will serve 99% of your needs. As shown in this example of a diagram for the upstream portion of a machine, the most important elements stand out. These include rollers and webs and people. The most important elements are not hidden by frames, as with pictures. These most important elements are not buried in ink noise, as in CAD drawings. Before we move on to the next slide, I want to point out a very important best practice. That is, if the web is generic, such as used in sales, the web path should always proceed from left to right, much as we would read a sentence in most languages. In sharp contrast, the threading diagram includes the most vital features of a machine, such as scaled roller diameters and wrap angles, and driven points which may be coded with a symbol or color, such as the mechanical unwind brake here, and key sensors, such as the dancer shown here. However, the reason that the diagram is most commonly called a threading diagram is it shows how to thread the web around rollers. While this can be quite straightforward to learn on many simple machines, it can be quite complicated on laminators, as just one example. Even on this simple machine diagram, we show the best practice design is to allow for over and under wrapping the unwind, and the diagram makes sure that the wrap angles over the first idler roller, labeled number 2 in this case, are neither too much nor too little. Another key feature is the labeling of every single position, including every idler roller. Here we show rollers for a newly added displacement guide as labeled 5A through 5D. The diagram also gives us a sense of scale, where a human figure is shown much better, or at least much quicker, than showing a labeled height. Here we see how an operator or maintenance must duck to clear most rollers when servicing the machine. Here we see that the web is safely above the floor and above the operator to reduce contamination of your web, as we discussed in previous shows. Of course, web machines are not all about web handling. We have even more important elements such as coders, laminators, ovens, and so on. However, these are shown more as a block diagram than as detailed elements. That does not mean that more details might not be more useful. It is just that other details should be on other diagrams, so they don't clutter the threading diagram. Question: who can use a threading diagram? Answer: everyone can use a threading diagram. As such, this is the most important graphic and deserves the most important effort to get the most out of it. Thank you so very much for joining me in this Best Practices mini-series. Join me next week where we will talk about a few best practices for rollers, the building blocks of your machine. If you have a topic you would like to hear about, let me know in the comment section below. If you found anything interesting or useful here, please like and share and subscribe. See you next time.